Welcome to Same But Different. We are a movie channel who we like to watch movies and we like to review them and we like to talk about them. We're just obsessed. They are our life's blood.
Oh, yes, they are.
Speaking of blood, we are reviewing a horror movie today called Midnight with the Devil.
I was going to say sick segue and then he fucked up the title.
Fucked up big time.
Interview with the Devil? No. Late Night with the Devil.
Nailed it. First try.
We're reviewing Late Night with the Devil, starring David Dastmalchian?
I don't know.
Is that right?
I would have said Malchian.
Polka Dot Man from the Suicide Squad. This movie took the world by storm. It is the most streamed movie on Amazon right now through Shudder. Let's review it.
Okay.
I want to hear what you thought about it, Brody.
Me?
Yeah, you.
You want to hear my thoughts on this show? Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. I want to start with, I think that this movie fell victim to the same thing that happened with Monkey Man for me.
Uh-oh.
I was a little more forgiving this time because I made my mistake with Monkey Man, because going back I would change my rating of that one, but I was expecting something different based on the online phenomena that I've seen. I never watched the review or the trailer for this movie, but I've seen so much online, no spoilers, just so much hype for this.
What's a hype? It's fresh.
I was expecting more of a horror. This movie certainly had some scary parts to it. There were horror elements to it. I wouldn't call it a horror movie. I'd call it more of a psychological thriller. I did really love the vibe of this movie. I think it was a really, really fun idea. I think it was executed very, very well. I think it was really, really cool how they let us see what was going on in documentary style when they cut to commercial.
Yeah, that was cool.
I half expected them to cut to fake commercials because this movie was very funny in its own way and it was very fourth wall-y, and I thought honestly we were going to get fake commercials.
I wish that there was some attention brought to the fact that somebody was recording documentary in the background. You know what I mean? Because otherwise it was just a gimmick.
Yeah, I guess there probably always is, though, going on those shows, right? Probably some cameras always recording.
Eyes always watching.
I guess, yeah, that's true. But even a throwaway line like that, the narrator at the beginning with the super deep voice.
Yeah.
Even he could have been like, there was a crew that was always recording. And like, I don't know, something could have been there.
Fair enough.
Help me out.
The acting across the board was great, with obviously very, very strong lead in David Dalmatian. And it's funny because prior to this, Derek and I were talking, and he's like, oh, David Dalmatian's been in so much stuff. And I really think I've only ever seen him as Polka Dot Man. So I have written here, can we please put him in more things moving forward? The movie does a very, very good job of hooking you in immediately, which is cool because it doesn't hook you in immediately with what you're about to watch. It hooks you on almost something else completely. It hooks you in watching and enjoying this fabricated 70s TV show before turning the tables on you and showing you what you're actually in for.
My, how the tables have turned.
If you didn't know what you were watching, clicking play on this movie, I think you could very easily be fooled.
Not only could you be fooled, but you could actually genuinely have a good time if this is all it was.
Yeah. The first half was honestly just as strong as the second, and it was almost a drastically different movie. Because this movie is still new, I will not talk spoilers or go into the ending too much, but I do wish the ending was fleshed out more.
Yep.
It's like the ending to this movie delivered the ending to a story that was always the backdrop of this movie. It wasn't the main plot. It was a subplot, and then it's what the ending of this movie became all about. I think what could have fixed that, and I rarely say this, is a longer runtime.
Yeah, I agree. It gave us the story and the backstory of his character at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it gave us the conclusion of his backstory and his character at the end, but everything in the middle, it was forgotten about. So by the time we were given a resolution, I was just like, but I haven't been really caring about this the whole time.
It was so close.
So close.
And I think that the ending was kind of just too rushed and chaotic, albeit cool. The movie already took a left turn on you, which was great. And then it kind of took another one, and it just didn't sit as well. Also, to wrap it up, as I mentioned before, I do think that it was lacking in the horror a little bit, and I do wish we got to see a little more of Lily, because that's where the horror came from, and they really just kind of scraped some cool stuff out of her, but it wasn't really as much as I would have liked to see. And that all being said, I did very much enjoy my time with this movie. I would watch it again. I would recommend it to anybody who wanted a, first of all, unique experience. Like, people are like, originality in Hollywood's dead. Shining testament that that's not true. And I'm giving it 7 out of 10.
Nice. It's also a great Halloween movie.
Great Halloween movie.
This movie's downfall was itself and the way it was structured, because you have to emulate a talk show. If you were to put in more horror at the beginning, you lose the element of the talk show. It had to save all the stuff until the end, or else we wouldn't have a talk show. You know, like, they would have stopped it immediately and been like, okay, show's over.
Show's over, motherfuckers.
But then they needed to use that time to give us more of his development or backstory somehow.
It got in its own way because of how unique of a premise it was and an execution it was. It just sucks.
Very interesting way to put it. Agreed.
That being said, I'd like to point out that this is the first time I've ever seen a movie of this sort. It's a found footage movie. And when you think found footage, you automatically default to somebody carrying around a handy cam and like shaky cam and you know, Blair Witch Project, stuff like that. This is quite literally the footage of a TV episode of a talk show that was found. The first of its kind, as far as I've seen.
Probably, yeah. Like, closest you can think is maybe VHS, because they were found that footage literally, but then it ended up being shaky cam stuff as well. So
on the other side of that coin, though, everything that was given to us wasn't really unique. I mean, as far as like the horror elements, so we've seen possession before.
Yeah, okay.
We've seen people be lifted up into the air before. We've seen people's faces melt before. You know what I mean? Like, everything was like, oh, I've definitely seen this before. They didn't take any chances or do anything like crazy revolutionary as far as the effects or the horror. It's like you find a new chocolate bar or a new candy or something. You're like, whoa, I've never seen this chocolate bar before. And then you bite into it and it's like, I've had a Snickers. This tastes exactly like a Snickers. But I still love Snickers.
Sure.
David Dalmatian, I love him so much.
He's so good.
He has such emotion to give us, and he needs to be put in more things. I think the best parts were the little tiny looks into the horror that we might be getting. I enjoyed my time with it by the end. I know it sounds like I may not have. Like you, I expected a lot more. I expected a horror movie. I expected to be terrified.
I expected something more complex.
There's just so much backstory missing from this movie, and you're right. It could have done with another like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
That just gave us something. Yeah, it was a unique experience, and I really enjoyed myself. God dang it, I also rated it a 7 out of 10.
Nice.
Same episode.
Which is solid movie. Recommend. Just didn't reach great status.
Yeah, and it could have. I wanted it to so badly.
Yep.
Because of its aesthetic and its feel, even its advertising and its movie poster. Like, I was like, oh, this is going to be like the modern day Exorcist or the next Hereditary or like something to make me really, ugh. No. If you haven't seen it, watch it. We definitely recommend it. It's a good time. And I think just culturally at this point in time, you should watch it just to stay in the conversation. If you've seen it, let us know in the comments what you thought about the movie. How about you let us know what your favorite David Dalmatian movie is? He's been in a lot. He was just in Oppenheimer. He's never at the forefront of things, but any movie that you've seen him in, whatever's the best, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
And while you're down there, like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we want to keep doing this and we love doing it and we love having people to do it for and with. Maybe it can become a cult.
Oh, we could do that.
We could be cult leaders.
You got any kids to sacrifice?
Not on hand.
Probably a good answer.
What are we doing next week, bro?
Oh shit! Next week we're watching Immaculate.
Okay. It's been a horror movie renaissance at the early 2024.
Yeah.
It's been nice, and honestly, not many of them have been bad per se.
No, like, we're not going to review Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Come on by next Wednesday when we review that, and until then, keep watching movies.
Just do it.
My, how the tables have turned.